Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now July 29th of 2024, and given that now Deadpool and Wolverine is officially in theaters and it is doing amazingly well at the box office for several reasons, the main reason of all had a lot to do with the fact that those out there like Ryan Reynolds, director Shawn Levy, writers Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick really took a major stand against the Disney executives, the Disney higher-ups, back in right around April to May of this year when they were actually engaging in reshoots. Disney wanted to actually throw in a lot of diversity, equity, and inclusion nonsense at the forefront of the series, and Ryan took a stand and was able to really minimize that down to a minuscule level for Deadpool and Wolverine, and to really rather focus on pure entertainment and pleasing the fans. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new, and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. Now, if you have seen Deadpool and Wolverine, it is just that, pure entertainment. It is something that Ryan Reynolds was able to successfully gravitate toward Marvel fans and to really create something on its own. Now, focusing on Joy Behar, we know that there's been a lot of drama happening there behind the scenes for a long while. We know that her scene in Deadpool and Wolverine was in shambles and is going to be involved in the director's cut of the overall Deadpool and Wolverine film that actually involves both Wolverine and Wade Wilson poking fun at the TV show host in a bar as it's on live television. But what's interesting about this has a lot to do with Joy Behar's view of Ryan Reynolds and of the movie, and it really kind of repeats itself based on what she talked about a couple of days ago about her view of the language, the violence, and everything else related to this new Marvel movie. So let's get into this, shall we? Now, specifically, of course, on top of everything here, with many divisions at the Walt Disney Company going through various setbacks and challenges, one major development now has more to do with Joy Behar of The View going on attacking Ryan Reynolds again after his success with Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, Behar went on to deliver the following to the public. As a mother, I know many other mothers who have sons and daughters that saw this film, such as Deadpool and Wolverine, which is supposed to be a family-friendly superhero movie somehow turned into an R-rated film. And the parents that I know personally were just appalled based on what they saw with all the foul language and the intense violence that is just ruining our society in this day and age with modern entertainment. I mean, you have those like Ryan Reynolds who should have really limited himself to how much R-rated content was thrown into this thing. I know as a mother, I would never allow my kid to see such a film. I told Eve these types of films are just toxic and you should never be subject to viewing such a thing. Quite frankly, I don't know what Ryan was thinking when he decided to join Marvel, which is supposed to be Disney friendly. They somehow want to go into this R-rated direction, which I think is just a mistake and it's just going to drive families away in the long run. I really do believe that. The many families I knew refused to bring their kids to Deadpool and Wolverine, some of which I know Bob Iger very well, and I have had my differences with him over the years, but the one thing that he seems to be breaking from is by hiring creators like Ryan to shift Disney from being family-oriented to catering their content to adults and films that support terrible language. I mean, have you seen the film? You have characters like Wolverine, who I guess is a popular comic character, dropping F-bombs everywhere in the movie. It just comes across as very childish and desperate on Ryan's part to make things connect with an adult audience that I guess love to curse successfully. Look, I love what Disney has done with the Spider-Man movies, and especially with The Marvels, starring Brie Larson, and how that supports diversity, equity, and inclusion. But this Deadpool film seems to mock all of that representation in many ways, and I had a problem with that. I had the chance to check it out at the world premiere, because why not, you know? It was nothing but foul language dressed up as a superhero film. I think Ryan just needed to control himself with all the F-bombs in the movie. So guys, let me just stop here before I move on again real quick. Now, we know that Joy Behar is nothing that we could consider relevant in this world. I mean, she is just a trash person altogether. She's a trash TV show host, if you even want to call her that. But who watches The View, right? What sane person even watches The View in 2024? And the fact that they're going off about Ryan Reynolds at the forefront being responsible for throwing in F-bombs and throwing in violence and cursing in a Deadpool movie. They obviously don't know the character, they don't know the nature of the character of Deadpool. If you actually go back to the comics and do your research, you will, know firsthand that this is exactly what the character is like. Now, we've had many examples of Joy Behar really going off about Disney's direction, yet she still defends Disney to this day. I guess she never wants to fully go against Disney because she is hired by them. But what's interesting about this is the fact that she keeps going off about how Ryan Reynolds, pretty much over excessively used foul language in Deadpool and Wolverine, and how that's a childish act on his part and by Disney. And it goes to show you that Joy Behar has no clue what she's talking about. She very much is out of touch with Marvel Studios and what the character of both Deadpool and Wolverine really are all about. So it seems like she also has a problem with the fact that this movie took a massive shift away from the Disney agenda. Now sure, guys, as we talked about this, very minor amounts of Disney's agenda spilled its way into this movie. You really have to look for it. But very few moments actually are shoehorned in there. Very, very few. This movie, as far as I'm looking at things, based on what you see in the movie, it is like a 95% successful film all the way through. Just pure entertainment, a lot of great cameos. If you're a big Fox guy or a Fox person, whether you're a female or a male that loves Marvel, if you all love the Fox characters from the previous X-Men movies, you're absolutely going to love this movie. It's basically like the Avengers, but in the Fox form. That's kind of like how I see it in a sense. But when you look at Joy Behar, she has no idea what she's talking about. So continuing on, she goes on to conclude, "It just doesn't add to the comedy for me and so many other mothers that want to bring their children to entertaining movies, coming from Disney especially. I lost a little respect for Hugh Jackman with how much they support Ryan's use of violence and adult language in a comic book film. And to think that Ryan is pushing for this to be the norm at Marvel and Disney, I think it's dangerous to the younger generation that's just getting to learn more about Disney and the superhero films and that trend that they put out there. I just think Ryan needs to cool it down with what he's trying to do with the future of Marvel." So, Joy Behar, not a big shocker that this is coming from her. She always says the most nonsense things out there when it comes to her view of movies, television, public figures out there that are, against her narrative and against her view of things. So it's not a big, surprise, to be honest. But it really goes to show you that there is a lot of energy coming from Joy Behar, and I think a lot of it has to do with how, yes, she did have a scene in this movie that was scrapped, and that Ryan Reynolds and Shawn Levy want to throw into the director's cut, where she does get mocked by Deadpool and Wolverine, and basically how they mock her and make fun of her in a bar while drinking whiskey. We talked about this several times in the past couple of months, but I would like to hear what you all have to say about this below in the comments and everything related to Deadpool and Wolverine. If you guys saw the film, let me know what you guys have to say about that below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.